You are here because you're at the forefront of technology.
Welcome to the Things Conference 2021. What a different conference this is, Johan.
Yeah. Welcome.
Welcome. So we're gonna. This is the opening keynote. We're gonna have all kinds of cool product announcements again, services, etc. And you sit back, relax, put it on full screen, like the button somewhere in the corner. Put on your headset and just let us guide you through all the latest and the greatest.
Right.
And enjoy. Anything you want to share with the audience, Johan? No, nothing specific.
Not for
okay.
now.
No, just,
I have a lot to share.
You have a lot to share. Okay, that's good. So we're gonna kick this off. Welcome, and we have a massive lineup of speakers. We have more than 60 speakers. We have workshops. All the leaders in the industry are there. Wide range, technical. Business, etc. So that's super cool. We have partners, all our long-term partners. These are our gold sponsors, and many companies in the ecosystem join us, and also a lot of new ones. It seems that the LoRaWAN ecosystem has grown massively.
It's growing, and I'll show you later.
You have more. You have more data. That's really nice. Thanks, Johan. And Johan, can you tell about like what can people do with devices?
All the devices. So if you have been to the Things Conference editions in the past years, you know the blue famous LoRaWAN of fame. We took that virtual, so we have now all these devices, again, where you can even interact with in a virtual way. So it's even better than the physical edition of the Things Conference. And we have a great lineup of speakers, like Wienke said, and the content really goes from new features provided by the silicon to advanced data analytics in the cloud and everything in between, and products and service announcements from our partners and sponsors, and obviously also from us.
For sure. And if you're done learning, then we have 25 social islands for informal and business serendipity and networking. And it looks a bit like this. Yeah, you just log in. You will find the links on the platform. It's a lot of fun. We do this as a company actually quite regularly.
So at the end of the day, just get a cold beer from the fridge and join one of the islands.
Yeah.
And have a chat with the rest of the participants.
And we'll be there as well. So that's good. So the Things Network and the Things Industries can't stop, won't stop. 2020 has been a crazy year, but also it's been a crazy year for IoT. We see massive growth, right? So, of course, we started off with our physical conference. Crazy to think that 1 year ago, we were actually with 1,500 people in Amsterdam from 61 countries. Let's hope we have that next year. Probably we will have that. We celebrated our 5th anniversary. That was pretty nice. Time flies.
Yeah.
So that goes fast. And again, we beat another world record. What was this again?
This was during the virtual conference, from a weather balloon from our friends in the middle of the Netherlands, Things Network community. And this weather balloon was at, I think, around 36 kilometers and reached the gateway in Czech Republic. 832 kilometers, which is actually almost the physical limit of LoRa. So let's see if somebody can beat this.
Yeah.
This
We
year.
still 2021 is up for a challenge. So we've seen widely in the LoRaWAN ecosystem, a massive growth. These are our gateways. Every year we share. What do we see here, Johan?
These are gateways, the compound set of gateways connected to the Things Network community network, as well as the Things Industries private networks. Yeah, it's nice, really good growth that we see time over time, and it also is challenging and really fun for us to see the growth and to see the engineering that we need to do in our team to make sure that we can route all the packets.
Yeah, and we've seen also a continuous growth in interest from developers, right? And if you look at that, we expect in the world there's around 25 million developers that can deliver production code. You see that there's just this magic around IoT, and this is just ever interesting for developers. And these two actually form the ingredients to what's next, right? So the amount of devices now is even going at a faster pace, and you see really the pickup, and it makes a lot of sense. We all know that IoT is hard. We all know that building an application is hard, but once you have a success and you can scale that, the amount of devices goes through the roof. And we're nearing already at this point around 800,000 devices that we have on the network. And all these devices, they generate data, right?
And they route a lot of traffic. And that is actually where we see the steepest growth. That is the number of messages that are being sent by all these devices per second. So we are now reaching 600 messages per second. It's really hard to imagine how many that is. But those are installed devices, right? So those are devices. So you saw the number of developers and a number of gateways and the number of registered devices, but they can also be somewhere in the supply chain. But this is really the number of messages that are being sent by devices that are out there in the field. Yeah. And see also how many devices and how much this volume increased in 2020, a year which was for a lot of people and companies pretty challenging.
Yeah. And challenge supply chains, etc. So this is just very interesting. I just said this is end-to-end application data streaming.
These are no forecasts. This is just reflection.
Yeah, this is indeed. Yeah. That's good to mention here as well. So.
And to make that all work and to make sure that we can keep routing the traffic, we need our stack, and we need the Things stack, and I'll tell a little bit more about that later. And this shows you the amount of lines that we wrote and that are open source. It starts from 2016 when we had a really simple and small open source stack. And the last few years, and you see that in 2019, we fully focused on V3, the Things stack V3. We passed 300,000 lines of code, so that's no blank lines, no comments, no dependencies, no generated code. It's just purely handwritten code by our team, which is available for the open source community. And we use that also to as an engine to route all the traffic and to connect all the gateways.
Wow, that's super awesome. So so all these metrics, these are technical metrics, so to say. They all come from real life use cases, and you can literally say LoRa is everywhere. If you look at the diversity of our ecosystem and the diversity of our user and customer base, it's like everywhere around the world in any industry. So just let me quickly go through a few of them. So for instance, we see LoRa on ships for condition monitoring. LoRa is used by large supermarket chains for asset tracking. It's being used by a railway organization, in this case, to synchronize the clocks. These are partners that do predictive maintenance, so they measure the sound of these engines, and then they are able to detect anomalies. We have industrial customers here. It's one of our customers, Axions. They use it for tracking workers across industrial sites. They even used all kinds of sensors to make sure that art is preserved at the right conditions, right? Our partner InView is using LoRa to make retail security systems to make sure that you have display products that you can use and see as a customer, but yet again introduce security, so not somebody just walks out the door with it. Elderly care, where we have all kinds of use cases around detection of if somebody has fallen or if somebody already took their medicine. In facility management, in this case, this year we've seen that WeWork is introducing CO2 sensors to measure if the ventilation is properly done in the light of course, the COVID crisis. Our partner, Spacewell, they are automating entire buildings, creating a digital twin of the building, making sure you can do all kinds of analytics around it. We have customers that are tracking cows. In this case, an application that determines bull performance. This is a customer that tracks cows through collars, and they have analysis around herding and all kinds of metrics in this industry. We have, this is a corporation from Scotland doing a lot of different agricultural use cases like moisture, like irrigation, etc. This is a company that measures CO2 in schools. A lot of countries have regulation around the CO2 levels in a classroom. They make sure that these schools are being kept compliant. Cold chain, in this sense, it's temperature measurement of fridges in a medical environment. And of course,
the mousetrap.
The mousetrap. There, it's always there, the better mousetrap. And this is not going to go away, right? The business case is so solid where in a facility management case, you are notified on when a rodent is caught. So literally, everywhere around the world, in every industry, you can find LoRa. Not only our technical metrics say it, but also all the narratives and all the stories we have from our customers. So what drives all these different use cases?
Well, that's the thing stack. That's our product, our LoRaWAN network server, and all the integrations and peering technologies behind it. So the architecture of the main components is what you see here. So you see gateways on the left. They are connected to a gateway server. We have a LoRaWAN network server, an application server, all kinds of integrations. We also have the join server, an identity server with a registry of users and applications and everything. So this is a complete stack to build a LoRaWAN network. And if you look at the features, I won't mention all of them, but it's feature complete. You can connect any LoRaWAN device in any device class in any region. We have a really intuitive web interface where you can manage the network, where you can add devices, where you can configure integrations, where you can also see if everything is going well. We have APIs, so as a developer, as a systems integrator, you can integrate the thing stack in your solution so that you can also combine it with other IoT technologies. Or you can connect it directly in an IoT platform, such as AWS IoT or Azure IoT. We also have a packet broker interface that is really part of every the thing stack deployment, and I'll show you in a bit what that is. The console, that's what we spend a lot of time on. That's the web interface to manage the LoRaWAN network. It looks a lot, if you're used to V2 of our stack, it's really a new generation, really built from scratch, where you can log in, manage your applications and gateways, see the live traffic flowing. So if your gateway receives a message, you immediately see that. In the console, you can get all the metadata and see how your network performs, configure integrations. You can do everything in the console. So connecting all these things and connecting all these networks is all enabled by the packet broker. And you should really see the thing stack as a core component, as a product. And you can install or use the thing stack in different instances or different deployment models, as we call them. So on the top left, you see the open source deployment. You can go to our GitHub, follow our getting started instructions, and install the thing stack on your server. It's fully functional. There are no limitations. and you can connect gateways and build LoRaWAN applications. And you can connect even your open source installation to the packet broker. Then you see the Things Network. That's our community network. So that's hosted, and there's all the gateways and all the collaboration is going on there is in a global way. In the bottom, you see the Things Stack Enterprise. That's our enterprise distribution with all enterprise features, multi-tenancy, clustering, single sign-on with enterprise systems, all sorts of advanced analytics, things like that. Really everything you need to build a large-scale LoRaWAN network. And you can deploy that on your own infrastructure, but we also have templates available to deploy that on a public cloud. And finally, that's our flagship service, the Things Stack Cloud. It's our hosted offering where we provide a service level agreement, and it's fully managed, and you have your own environment, and these are all connected to Packet Broker. And what that means is that you can exchange traffic with other networks. So first you choose your deployment model, you choose whether you want to use the community network, you choose if you want to use your own open source installation or our cloud managed solution or enterprise solution. But whatever you choose, you can collaborate and exchange traffic with other networks via the Packet Broker. What's also new and what is an inherent component of the Things Stack is our device repository, because we figured that it's always quite challenging to onboard new LoRaWAN devices because there are so many settings, so many LoRaWAN versions out there, so many things you need to know about. And so what we came up with is to fill this gap and to make it really easy for device makers to submit the information about their end devices in a open source repository, the device repository on GitHub. And the Things Stack product can load all this information, and this makes it really easy to onboard new devices. It also integrates really well with the new QR code. That's a new LoRa Alliance specification. And this contains some identifiers about a LoRaWAN device. For example, the join UI, the def UI, some information on the proof of ownership, but it doesn't contain any security keys. So it's just an identification, but it does contain a pointer to the profile that is in the device repository. So if you see new LoRaWAN devices with this QR code, if you scan this QR code and you onboard this to the Things Stack, the Things Stack knows exactly which device it is and which parameters it should use when onboarding the device. So just as an example, these are the LoRaWAN version, the regional parameters version, things like the ERP, if it's OTA or ABP, and what are the channels, the delays and everything, Class B and Class C parameters, all the stuff that you need to know to onboard a device. Besides the profile, it also contains the payload codecs, so no more playing around with JavaScript and bit shifting yourself. These codecs are now provided by the device makers themselves. They maintain it, and you can use it in an open source way. The device repository also plays a central role, not only in onboarding the device, but also as a catalog. And we will also connect our marketplace on our websites to the device repository, as well as the Wall of Fame. So it's a central place where device makers can submit information about their devices. So it's not only the profiles and the codecs, but it's also where you can buy them, what the operating conditions are, the compliancy, and things like that. So we already have worked closely with the device maker community, and we are really happy that they already submitted 363 profiles. So you can already make use of those, and we are actively working with the device maker community to get all the LoRaWAN devices out there. And if you are a device maker or if you're building LoRaWAN devices, feel free to go to GitHub, the Things Network account, LoRaWAN devices repository, and get started.
So Johan, why is this so important for scalability and also the cost at scale? Like,
Yeah.
like how does this?
So we see that onboarding gateways and onboarding devices is really a time-consuming process. And if you're only onboarding 10 devices and it takes 10 minutes per device, that's fine. But if you want to onboard 10,000 devices, you really want a quick process, and you also don't want to have any mistakes there. So the device repository really decouples what the device makers know, the expertise that they have. They know exactly what the binary payload is, and the solution provider who just buys the devices, and they don't want to know, or they don't need to enter the codecs and make mistakes there.
So you put the responsibility in the right place.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really nice to see. So then very interesting new features around the thing stack, the packet broker, how it all comes together. But just one step back and just revisit, like, what's the power of LoRaWAN again? And why, like, does it find so much interest in the market? First of all, it's ultra low power. So, and what we've seen over the years, that's the main USP. So, ultra low power means sensors that run on a battery for very long, and it also means that you don't have to replace them very often, and that means lower cost in your sensor maintenance. The other one is long range. I mean, we've seen 800 kilometers. You could criticize us on that, say, yeah, you're setting wrong expectations. Of course, this is an experiment, but long range is still very much a feature, and it goes way further than, of course, Wi-Fi or Zigbee or Bluetooth. Deep indoor penetration. Why do you see that in buildings you have so much usage of this technology because of this feature? It is in the free spectrum. There's no permission required to use LoRaWAN. That is a very strong feature. Geolocation, we've integrated the LR1110. It's a new product that was announced at our previous conference, but also by Semtech. And also their cloud services allow you to position the device. The combination of that, you can either build big carrier operator-like networks, but you can also build a lot of private networks and combine them, as you've shown on all these different deployment options. The end-to-end security is embedded in the protocol, so it's not on top of it, which just makes it by design very strong. You're actually the inventor of the first firmware over-the-air update solution over LoRaWAN, and that's gaining maturity right now, which is very, very strong. What we're also excited about is the certification program by the LoRa Alliance that gives a stamp on if a device is actually working properly. Very strong, important for the network effects in the big ecosystem that it has. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of devices available for any use case out there.
And this is just the overview. So I have a talk, also this conference, LoRaWAN Fundamentals. And it's more than an hour of content diving deep into LoRaWAN, and it's an entry-level presentation. So if you're new to LoRaWAN, or if you want to know, more about cohesion, then also watch that talk.
Yeah, I think it's a very condensed piece of our end. I think I can advise everybody to watch it. Yeah.
So what happened in LoRaWAN in the LoRaWAN on the technical side last year? So there is a new LoRaWAN version, 1.0.4. It contains a lot of improvements related to Class B, for example, and many other things, security improvements, and a lot of clarifications. So that's really good. And next to that, there is the LoRaWAN certification test tool, and that allows you as a device maker to run all sorts of tests with your end devices before you submit it to a test house for certification. And this is free for all LoRa Alliance members. And that reduces the cost dramatically for certifying your LoRaWAN devices. The QR code specification, I already mentioned it, I already showed it, but that's really instrumental for onboarding new LoRaWAN devices. And finally, there is a new regional parameter specification that also adds a lot of regions to LoRaWAN. So if you are somewhere in the world where you want to deploy a network, it's very likely that that is now possible in a certifiable way even. So that's great. So we already mentioned the growth of the LoRaWAN volume, number of messages. And we did some data analytics, and so like I said, 600 messages per second.
This is like we have many gateways across the world.
Yeah.
All the messages that come in there, they go through the packet broker.
Yeah.
And this is the data set.
Yeah, so we took a sample because it's a lot of data. We took a sample of a few days, and traffic for the Things network is roughly 64%. So that's for the community network. And this is only by gateways connected to the Things network or TTI networks, right? So it's obviously skewed, but that means that we also see about a third of the traffic is not just for the Things network community. So let's dive into that. So those are messages received for commercial networks by the Things network gateways. And that gives you a little bit of an idea how big LoRaWAN is. And this is also growing, right? So it's those we see.
The entire pie is immensely growing.
Yeah, and that is really good. I think that's really big accomplishment for the ecosystem. And then there are many other smaller networks here in the other category that are deployed globally, and obviously a lot of LoRaWAN activity outside our coverage area, and that's also great. So just based on data, we saw an increase in volume of 100% in the last 6 months. So it's growing really fast now, and that's really good. We hope to see that growth sustaining in the coming year. And these devices are actually designed, manufactured, distributed, installed somewhere. They have been tested. They are out there, and they are sending this traffic. So that's already a huge pipeline. It's already when the owners of these devices, when they started thinking about their use cases, maybe that's already 2 years ago. So imagine what is in the pipeline, what is now being manufactured, what is now being onboarded and tested. So that's really interesting to watch.
It just truly shows the maturity of the ecosystem. Like we always said, building an end-to-end solution is actually very hard because you need so much, so many capabilities.
Yeah,
and
we made so many mistakes.
And below that, like if you look at the numbers, there's this immense amount of work people relentlessly going through because they have this core belief that this technology is going to provide it. And it seems that we're at this point that we're reaching these maturity levels in the LoRaWAN ecosystem.
It's also the right time to start. And that's also why we put a lot of time again at recording a LoRaWAN fundamentals video. If you're new to LoRaWAN, because there are obviously a lot of people new to LoRaWAN. If you see this growth, this is also really the right time to start.
Yeah.
And,
So we've talked about messages, we talked about technology, developers, many use cases, and if you look at the developers in the world, and what we just said, like when is it time to start to get into LoRaWAN? That's actually now, but in the world of roughly 7.7 billion people, there's only 25 million people that can deliver production level code. So the amount of developers is actually very small. What we've seen across the industry is that after the last 5 years, we've been able to educate a lot of them. But we want to take that one step further by introducing the Things certification. So these are, it's going to start off with 4 basic certifications. You can get them at this conference. We have all the content to get you prepared for the quiz that what makes you earn these badges. These are fundamentals, advanced security and network management. And there will be more to come. So we'll have partners that introduce their the Things certification version. And we'll also have additional acknowledgement and badges that can be earned. And we're super excited about that.
So now you can get your devices certified and yourself.
And yourself as well. This is. And if you like, you can also put it as a tattoo, but that's optional. You have one, I guess. But
yeah, I have one here.
Okay. So the certifications costs are 99 euros per certification. They're free for everybody at the conference, and they're free until the 1st of March. What's next is that we've seen so much demand for education or getting people up to speed, making sure you don't make the beginner mistakes, that we've decided to launch something new. And that's the Things Industries Developer Success Program. This is a complete package, a subscription with a yearly fee that makes sure that you do not make the beginner's mistakes, right? That you save so much time by going into the right direction. And this program consists of a different a set of services. It will cost 199 euros per year. You will get a development enterprise network server with it. You can get unlimited certification. So already, if you want to go for the full stack of certification, this is already cheaper for a year. You have access to all online conferences. You will get discounts for physical conferences. 4 times a year, we have update sessions where we have all our experts from our teams, from our partners, gathered on 4 days a year where we'll update you in a year. And also, if you're new, it's a complete tutoring session to get you through the tests and educate you. Also part of this is that you get 1 enterprise support ticket for free per year, and you'll use a system which will allow you to prototype, but also it's easy to migrate to an enterprise production system from there. And we're super excited about this product, and if you want to know more, go to the booth and you will find all the Things Industries, and you will find all the information there. So the foundation of all this innovation is LoRa, and LoRa is developed by Semtech. Next up, we have Alistair Fulton. He's General Manager, Wireless IoT and LoRa at Semtech. Under his leadership, you have seen this massive growth. And yeah, would love to hear all about what he has to say.
Hi there, and welcome to the Things Conference. I'm Alistair Fulton, and I'm General Manager of Semtech's wireless business, a proud sponsor of the Things Conference 2021. Every year, the range of different applications that LoRaWAN is used to support grows and becomes even more enormous. And while 2020 has in so many ways been a very challenging year, that innovation has continued, even accelerated, in response to the growing need for IoT solutions worldwide. While it's disappointing for us all not to be there together in Amsterdam, like you all, I'm really looking forward to learning about all of the amazing innovations that the TTN community has built that we'll hear about and see in the coming days. LoRaWAN is unique, a unique combination of the low power and long range of LoRa that's essential for the Internet of Things, combined with the innovation of an open source developer ecosystem. Unlike other IoT solutions, LoRaWAN gives developers the freedom and flexibility to answer the problems your customers face today. In record time, LoRaWAN has progressed from early stage innovation to mass adoption, driven by an ever-growing ecosystem, leaving other legacy technologies in the dust. And now, more than ever before, with 150 public network operators across 100 countries, and with more than 1.2 million deployed gateways across the public and many thousands and tens of thousands of private networks out there, spanning land, sea, and now even space, enough capacity to support more than 5 billion endpoints. Now more than ever before, the choice is yours. With a choice of silicon, a broad range of powerful developer tools and services, a rapidly growing universe of LoRaWAN hardware, and an ecosystem-driven standard that supports innovation, ensures interoperability, and reduces development friction. Now, more than ever, LoRaWAN is delivering IoT solutions that are changing the world, enabling a better life for everyone. So whether you're in sunny California in North America like me, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australasia, or even South America, in the words of Wienke and Johan, let's build this thing together. Welcome to the show. And don't forget to stop by the Semtech booth on Wednesday or Thursday to learn more about what's coming next.
So very interesting to hear, and thanks for being such a great sponsor. Next up is the LoRa Alliance. They're governing the LoRaWAN standard, and we're very honored to have Donna Moore here. She is the best thing that ever happened to LoRaWAN. When she's leading the LoRa Alliance as a chairwoman, and it's been like tremendous and inspiring to see her keeping focus within the alliance. And here's Donna.
Hello, I'm Donna Moore, CEO and Chairwoman of the LoRa Alliance, and I'm thrilled to be kicking off 2021 presenting at the TTN conference. 2021 is all about scale, and if you join me later in my presentation, I will tell you why LoRaWAN is the only LPWAN ready to scale in big volume in 2021. I'm also joined by a couple colleagues from the LoRa Alliance. Alper Yagan, our technical chair and vice chair of the board, has 2 presentations. You'll not want to miss them if you really want to understand what's happening and the latest updates on our technical specifications. We also have Dave Jendal, who will be presenting, who sits on the board and is the chair of the regional parameters. Dave will share with you about how to deploy in various regions around the world. And last, we have Derek Hunt from the LoRa Alliance, who is the Director of Certification. Derek Hunt will talk about why certification is so important, particularly when we're looking at scale. And what happens if you don't certify, and what does that mean for you and the products in the market? So I look forward to you joining the presentations and really learning about LoRaWAN, because this is the year of scale. And again, I'll share with you why. Have a great conference, and thanks.
Great.
Right, looking forward.
Yeah, looking forward to all the sessions.
Totally agree. As you saw the growth. It's only growing.
Yeah, that's really great. So next up is LoRaWAN device management, and we're going to launch something very cool, and we made a video for that.
Building hardware is hard, and therefore building an Internet of Things end-to-end solution is hard. The history of computing shows that every time we put an abstraction layer on top of hardware, adoption of the hardware platform gets accelerated. Like the operating systems for the first computers, app stores for smartphones, and cloud management platforms for data centers. We can apply this concept to the Internet of Things, creating IoT devices that can be programmed with apps to serve specific use cases, yet leaving the hardware untouched. We present the Generic Node Sensor Edition, a LoRaWAN device packed with sensors and loads of features, capable of supporting several use cases with a single device and just one single supply chain. Available as an off-the-shelf product or as a boilerplate for LoRaWAN sensor development for device makers. Whether you want to build an application for cold chain, retail, smart building, smart city, agriculture, or smart offices, you can build that app with the generic node development tools. The app is provisioned remotely over LoRaWAN on deployment through simple messages or firmware updates over the air, and while the device is already in the field. This means that from production all the way to installation, it is the same device. This brings immense economies of scale advantages, which allows device makers to bring their product faster to the market with complete feature sets. At the core of this generic node sensor edition, you can find the STMicro's STM32WL, the LoRa radio, and an MCU packed in one system on a chip. The onboard sensors and peripherals can measure temperature and humidity, while the accelerometer detects the smallest of the movements and vibrations with high accuracy. Along with that, there's also a buzzer which provides auditory feedback, and an external flash for data logging and making it ready for firmware updates over the air. Security is embedded through a secure enclave, allowing it to join any LoRaWAN network in the world that supports the latest specifications set by the LoRa Alliance. Using the state-of-the-art buck boost technology, a wider input range, a higher efficiency, and a battery-agnostic operation are guaranteed. It brings everything you expect from a solid LoRaWAN sensor node, long range and longevity on 2 standard AA batteries. This product enables you to start building IoT solutions without the complexity and risk of hardware engineering, and lets you focus on the software that makes the product unique. Get it now.
So we created this product because we wanted to make sure that the cost of developing a LoRaWAN a device way cheaper. So reduce the non-recurring engineering cost, reduce the feedback loops, because there's already a lot of R&D inside of this boilerplate, and also to give you a quick start with great IDEs that just makes you build a Hello World application in literally in an hour. So let's get in the device. So here it is. Isn't it a beauty, Johan?
Finally.
Yeah. So what you see here at the heart of the device is the STM32WL by ST Microelectronics. And we have Benjamin here in the studio that will tell all about it.
Hi everyone, and hi Wienke and Johan. Thank you very much for having ST Microelectronics again this year. By the way, this is a very nice virtual stage and a very cool virtual show, so good job to you guys. Well, last year I physically came to Amsterdam to introduce the first version of STM32WL series, which is a single core version based on ARM Cortex-M4. And this year I virtually come here to talk about the latest version of STM32WL, which is a dual core version based on ARM Cortex-M4 and ARM Cortex-M0+, bringing advanced security features, which I will have the pleasure to detail during my keynote. I will also talk about the whole ecosystem offer coming with STM32WL, and all of you need to know that everything is currently available on the market. Then I will seize the opportunity to showcase concrete examples of devices involving STM32WL, such as the magnificent generic node that was just announced by Wienke and Johan, of course. So to all of you attending this virtual show, we really look forward to seeing you during ST's keynote. We will also have workshop hosted by ST's experts, and we hope to meet you on our virtual booth where a live video Q&A session will take place. By the way, you will have a chance there to get a free STM32WL Nucleo board, so we are really waiting for you there. In the meantime, enjoy the show and see you very soon.
That's cool. So check out Benjamin's talk. So that's the MCU and the LoRa chip. What you see here on the top is a red component. It's a virtual antenna by Fructus Antennas, and they have a very interesting system. And we have Jaap here to tell you all about it.
It was great working with the TTN team early on during the system design, as we were able to simulate the antenna performance from the get-go. As you can see here, this red virtual antenna is a standard component that ensures an optimal antenna performance at a fraction of the cost compared to custom design. More importantly, we were able to detect design issues early on, which enabled your team to optimize even before the prototyping stage. Frankly, this is critical to many device makers, as they cannot afford to go through endless design revisions. During the last couple of years, I've seen too many poor performing products, and then the data from the edge simply does never end up in the cloud. You have to start thinking about antennas like tires on a Formula 1 car. You can never win the race with the wrong tires. I'm sure there's a lot more to be said, so if interested, come to our virtual booth and we will explain in detail. For now, back to Wienke.
So very interesting, both a product and a service. So let's jump to the sensors that are on the device. So what you see here is that we both have temperature humidity sensors by Sensirion. They're specifically made to be low power. The other sensor is an accelerometer, which can detect rotation, fall, impact, etc. And this is also specialized for low-power devices, and it's by ST Micro. So here on the front of the device, you see a buzzer. And we added that buzzer because we saw that in the field, sometimes when a device is out of battery, but also when, for instance, it's lost or it's being placed in a position where you can't remember, a buzzer or audio feedback is very, very interesting. What you also see here is a quick connector, so you can use this for prototyping and make sure that you connect all kinds of different sensors. And we have also these breakout rigs, which allows you to even more extend the device.
On the back side again, there is the flash memory, and that allows you to store your firmware versions. So you can ship the generic node with all sorts of firmwares, and you can activate the firmware to use when the device is deployed in the field. And the flash memory is also used to store incoming firmware updates. We also put the secure element on the generic node, and that means that all generic nodes are securely provisioned on the Things Join server. And this is a secure enclave that also performs the LoRaWAN cryptographic operations. And that makes it a really, really secure LoRaWAN device that not only works on the Things network, but on any LoRaWAN network.
So going to the back again, we've put on here a buck boost converter by Rico. And this is a state-of-the-art buck boost converter. And what it basically does, it squeezes every little bit of energy out of any crappy battery. So what it does is that through this component, it makes sure that the lifetime of this device is even more extended. So it runs on 2 AA batteries, and we chose that because there's a wide ecosystem of AA batteries out there. You can get industrial ones, you can get lithium ones, and you can get even a very cheap one from IKEA. Whatever suits your use case, you can select the battery yourself.
Woo!
Oh! And finally, we have the casing from Bopla. They have 3 different casings with the same internals, so also this gives you a flexibility on what kind of casing you want. And interesting, you can also select a ring, which makes it watertight. So this gives you a lot of diversity. Either you need the you need it be it water resistant or not. So what do you think, Johan? Is it exciting or what?
Super exciting.
Yeah.
It's not as big as this one, though.
No.
This size.
It's this size or something. So that's good. So we've been working on this product for very long, having a lot of iterations. This has been quite a journey to get it to the level where we want. And we also launched a stealth community and gathered a lot of feedback because we see this as an enablement for device makers. So we want to get close to them and just know, like, what do they really want in this boilerplate? How can we kickstart their device development? And we have Luca from Earnas, who is part of that stealth community, and he's going to tell you about what he wants to do with it.
Hi, it's been a year since I've seen you all last at the Things conference. Awesome to have you back. My name is Luka Mustafa from Institut Earnas in Slovenia, where over the past year we've been sitting at home and creating automated solutions and improving IoT products we built so far, creating a range of partners and an ecosystem which allows us to build most advanced edge IoT devices to create novel solutions and create additional value in 2021. A very exciting project we've been working on and we decided to share this year is the Elephant Edge. With a range of partners, which you will hear plenty from on this conference, we've been building the most advanced elephant tracker, which is designed to outlive the animal, but at the same time bring in a lot of extra value from the sensors, from the machine learning side, and from the low power GPS tracking. We've put together a lot of technologies for this, where we combine the greatest and the latest that's out in the field, things we've only heard for the first time about a year ago. This now allows us to build very good end-to-end industrial IoT solutions, let that be from the electrical grid, allowing us to monitor critical infrastructure, to detect problems in various industrial settings, from power plants to production processes. But even more importantly, we take this out to the built infrastructure, say tunnels, for example, where we use this also for sensing applications, but most importantly, even to control and monitor robots doing critical tasks and making this infrastructure better. Overall, we've seen also a need for a single-purpose device, a very optimized and well-built solution which tackles a particular challenge. The Things industries have been developing the generic node, which is a nice example of how to do this right. It's a well-built design which allows modifications, but the core is there and it's stable and it's well proven. So on that basis, we've created a robust version of this so we can take the great existing solution and put it in a robust industrial product when that is needed. In this conference, welcome to my keynote later on in the day, but also feel free to explore all of our partners and our interesting projects that will be presented there and learn about what we built and also suggest your ideas.
Great to hear from Luca, a long-term partner from us. So this is about the generic node. We have one more thing, is that we're also launching later this year the LR1110 version of the generic node, using the same approach here as well. Here you see the first design coming. So if you want to know more, go to thegenericnode.com, go to the Things Industry stand, and we'll help you get started. So from devices back through to the cloud, to the network management software, you've been talking a lot about the Things stack. You've shown us fancy consoles, fancy UI, but the last time I looked, the thingsnetwork.org still has the old version. What's up with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. The Things Network is just running a really good version, V2. Okay. So, but we are now finally upgrading the Things Network to V3. So I showed this slide before, the overview with the different instances of the Things stack. And you already see the Things Network there in the top right. So that is the Things Network connected to Packet Broker. And we are now upgrading the Things Network to the Things stack. And then with Packet Broker, you can exchange traffic with other network instances. And we have a new way to log in for your user account, and that's called the Things ID. And the Things ID is our single sign-on system for all the things. So you're going to use that for logging into our websites, community pages, the forum. Certification will also be managed with the Things ID. But also the new console. You can log in with the Things ID to the Things Network. But it will also be possible to use it as a login with the Things ID for apps and third-party websites. And so if you in the community want to build a login system, you can do that. All the existing developers are going to be migrated securely, so you probably already have the Things ID account. Awesome. Then we're going to shut down V2, and we have a bunch of migration tools available, so you can migrate from V2, from the current version of the community network, to the new version, to V3. We're going to make the Things Network read-only, so you won't be able to add new applications and new gateways to V2 from April. And we are planning to shut V2 down around September. And that's obviously also, we are closely monitoring all the measures around COVID-19. And if it's not possible to go to gateways or go to devices to rejoin them or reconfigure them, then we obviously postpone those deadlines. So we'll keep an eye on that as well.
We'll keep this a friendly migration. We're not
we're
not gonna set up anybody.
No, we're not gonna let you take any health risks because of V3.
Yeah, that's very good.
All the gateways, they are already connected to Packet Broker. So that's something that we already put in place last year. And they will stay connected. So even if you have endpoints configured to V2, then you don't have to go to these gateways. They will stay connected. But if you want to go to the gateways and want to upgrade them, this is a great opportunity to update the firmware and to upgrade them to Basic Station, because that's a really good and safe protocol that we now support in V3. That's nice. And then we have the Things Network V3. And we, the Things Industries, are going to operate all the public clusters. And this is a strategical change compared to with V2, when we had communities to operate clusters. But we now believe that we want to harmonize that. We want to use a single DNS, a single configuration, and a single version. But with Packet Broker, it's going to be easier than ever to set up your own cluster. So we welcome the community to operate their own clusters, instances of the Things stack, open source, log in with the Things ID, connected to Packet Broker, and you can manage networks that way as well. But we are now going to operate the public community clusters in different areas, and we're going to use it. We're going to operate it pretty much the same way as our commercial, the Things Stack cloud offering, except that the community network is one big pool of applications and organizations and users, just like you're used to. And we start with deployments in Europe, the Americas, and Australia. And we're going to put a poll online on the Things Network forums to ask what your opinion is where we should deploy the other public clusters globally. The European cluster is already installed. You can see here the address. You can log in with the Things ID, and you can already start adding devices to the Things network on V3.
Wow,
so that's now
awesome.
Finally.
So we're getting there.
We're getting there.
All the new software is coming to the Things network as well. Harmonization across this, all the platforms. That's great news. So next up is an exciting project we've been working on for already almost 1.5 years, is that we saw a huge opportunity for IoT on the seas, on ships. And we're working with companies like North Sea on asset tracking and condition monitoring through our partnership with Wilhelmsen Shipping. And together, we built many use cases and provided Wilhelmsen Shipping with a platform to run their IoT applications. And to showcase that, we created a little video.
At any given moment, 78,000 merchant vessels are operational around the world shipping cargo. Even the smallest efficiency gains in routes, maintenance planning, and goods management can have a massive impact, reducing CO2, operational costs, and delivery times. Data is critical in finding these inefficiencies, whether it's data about the condition of onboard equipment, crew safety, in-transit vehicles, or locations of onshore assets. To gather relevant data, we need to fit sensors to assets, which send their readings to centralized or distributed control systems to make informed decisions. These can be thousands of sensors per ship or per port. In most cases, wiring these sensors is not an option because they're moving or because it's simply too expensive. In these cases, wireless is the way to go. Until now, wireless data collection in maritime supply chains has been a challenge, as these harsh environments are not friendly to many radio frequency technologies. We solve this by using the latest radio frequency technologies. Wilhelmsen brings all of this together with its IoT for the Seas platform, the new maritime standard for sensors, connectivity, and data handling that can meet the demands of its industry. The standards of this platform are open, and the technology is proven. So suppliers can easily develop sensors and solutions that are relevant to the maritime industry and its customers. Join the IoT for the Seas now.
Nice.
Yeah, this is super cool, and there's so many opportunities here, and the entire ecosystem is invited to join this and to explore all the problems that can be solved in the maritime industry using LoRaWAN. We have with us now John Ulstein, and from Williamson Shipping, and he's going to tell us more about the IoT for the seas.
Thanks, Wienke and Johan, for having me here. As you may know, Williamson is one of the largest providers of maritime services in the world. In the last year, we have increased our digital activities, including drones, 3D printing, autonomous ships, among others. We have worked closely with Semtech and the things industry to embed LoRaWAN into our business and have successfully tested and deployed pilots on board ships, in ports and on mainland. The wireless LoRaWAN replaces expensive wiring, allowing us to extend our service and application using low-cost, battery-operated devices. LoRaWAN is performing exceptionally well in exposing data from hard-to-get places. The recent addition of 2.4 makes it suitable to deploy in our global operation. In the past year, we have experience with asset tracking, condition monitoring, and numbers of other use cases. The result has been so overwhelming that we have decided to launch our new service platform, IoT of the Seas. Together with device makers and application developers, such as the audience here today, we offer our customer access to the digital, global LoRaWAN ecosystem. Make sure to check into the talk marked Maritime to see how we do it. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Check out the track on Maritime and already see what kind of cool applications that are there.
So this is also an invitation, right, to the community, the developer community watching now to build solutions and applications.
For sure, for sure. And there's so many opportunities in this industry that's just literally unbelievable.
Yeah.
So next up, announcement where we are super excited about. It brings together the power of LoRaWAN and the power of cellular LTE-M. What it is a packaged proposition of a LoRaWAN gateway with an LTE-M backhaul together with the global LTE-M SIM of Deutsche Telekom. So we're super, super excited about this. It brings a huge amount of benefits. This is how the general architecture looks like. Johan, can you maybe tell a bit around what we see here?
Yeah, so on the left you see the devices, and they are just communicating with LoRa to a gateway. But this gateway has an LTE-M backhaul. So it has a SIM card, and since this is a global network, this is going to work everywhere. So this gateway you see here, for example, this is a MikroTik gateway. It has an LTE-M radio. It's provisioned with a SIM card. And via this cellular network, the gateway can communicate with the Things stack operated by the Things Industries.
Yeah. And there's additional advantages. So first of all, the deep indoor penetration of LTE-M makes sure that you can put this gateway anywhere in, for instance, a building. But also the APN, which is basically a VPN, can be configured directly to the IP address of the LoRaWAN network server, making sure that it's a completely secured connection, and literally nothing else can be done with this device.
Right. And it makes it really easy to deploy LoRaWAN networks because you don't have to have access to a local Ethernet where you deploy the gateways, or you don't have to bother with different cellular contracts in different countries. So that is now all a solved problem. You just need the device and a power source.
Yeah, yeah, super, super excited. And we have here Afzal from Deutsche Telekom to tell a bit more about this partnership.
Hey IoT friends, it's Afzal from Deutsche Telekom IoT, and today I have very exciting news for you. In fact, it has been a very, very long time that I have been so excited about something that is happening in the IoT industry. So what is happening exactly? I will tell you everything about it. Let's start with some statements that we, people in the IoT industry, make very, very often. One of these statements is, you cannot do it alone. You need collaborations with other companies, other suppliers, other providers. It's true, we say it very often. And the other one is, there is no technology to rule them all. It's true as well. There is no technology that fits all IoT use cases out there. Each use case requires different types of connectivity, other protocols, other platforms, and sometimes even other hardware. So today, the Things Industries and DT IoT are kicking off a collaboration to solve some challenges in the IoT industry. Which challenges exactly? This is where it gets exciting. If I look closely at the LoRa ecosystem, it's huge, it's mature. Many IoT devices out there today are running on LoRa networks. I love it. But some of these use cases are facing certain challenges when they are about to scale. Imagine that you need to install a lot of gateways for one customer in one building or multiple buildings. You don't want to have the hassle with pulling cables. Or look at Wi-Fi connected gateways. It happens very often that the end customer requires other security protocols than Wi-Fi is offering. Or imagine that you need to install gateways in ships, trucks, containers, or even basements. You need deep indoor coverage. So this is exactly what we are going to solve. TTI and DTIoT are going to offer LTE-M connected LoRa gateways. This will simplify your installation with no touch provisioning, and it brings security features like APN and SIM encryption. If you want to be one of the first ones getting access to this new product, make sure that you will join our digital marketplace at the Things conference or join our keynote on Wednesday the 27th. I hope to see you there, and thanks for watching the video. See you soon.
Nice.
Very nice message from Afzal from Deutsche Telekom. And we are just excited as Afzal about this industry collaboration. And this gateway here, what you see, is manufactured by MikroTik. And we have Dennis here from MikroTik to tell you more about the product.
Hi, my name is Denis Truhanovs. I'm Head of Innovation in MikroTik. Today, I'm going to tell you about new exciting MikroTik products for LoRa, which uses narrowband and CAT-M technologies for IoT cellular connection, low cost and low bandwidth. These technologies are supported by many mobile operators all over the world. Combining LoRa and CAT-M makes not the best solution for LoRa networks that relies on CAT-M connectivity, or uses CAT-M as a backup link for a wired Ethernet connection. The NOT features 800 or 900 MHz LoRa interface, 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and 2 Ethernet ports. Besides being LoRa gateway, NOT can monitor onboard GPIOs, forward Bluetooth packets over HTTP or MQTT, and translate Modbus interface to TCP. It can be used for outdoor environments as well. NOT comes with DIN rail mount, which allows easy integration inside outdoor cabinets. This brings low-cost connectivity at very remote areas, thus can be used for many IoT applications, agriculture, asset tracking, cold chain monitoring, and many more. It's very flexible and has very disruptive price of $209 list price. But that's not all. I have even more exciting news for you. MikroTik is following new developments in LoRa technology, so we are bringing new features to our existing LoRa gateways. Well-known WAP-LR kit that was available with 800 and 900 MHz LoRa interfaces now will be also available with 2.4 GHz LoRa interface. That brings new possibilities of using 2.4 GHz LoRa interface with higher data rates and higher device density. It will be available for even lower pricing than 800 MHz gateways. Thus, it's a great fit for a wide range of LoRa applications. So if you are interested in NOT and other LoRa products, visit our webpage, mikrotik.com.
Nice.
Super interesting product, and you see the versatility they bring. Again, go to either the Things Industries, Microtik, or Deutsche Telekom's booth to learn more about this product and the specifics that you want to learn from this. So, we're nearing the end. There's one final hurdle. There's one final challenge. We've
put it all together.
To put it all together. And that's what we're all about. I think every conference, what we try to do is what is the biggest problem that the IoT industry is facing to scale and how we're going to solve this. And this is a picture we've shown at the 2018 conference. Yep. And we tried to show and picture how an installation looks like and like what visualizes the cost. And there's way too many people here, of course. And this is way too costly of a process. And what we've seen with our customers that once they exceed a certain scale, installation, configuration, etc., becomes very, very expensive. You addressed the device repository, which already addresses the configuration and the provisioning. But we're going to come with a disruptively new service where we will have a wholesale global installation service starting from 500 sites. And what we did is we built a proposition together with a partner that allows any customer, any systems integrator to tap into a global workforce of gateway and sensor installation engineers and field services. The network covers more than 25 countries. It comes as a device as a service. There's an SLA on the last mile. So as a Things Industries, we provide the SLA on the last mile of connectivity. It includes maintenance and swaps. So we're trying to have these devices in the field for very long. But yeah, in the end, you need to take them back because of e-waste regulations. Or you might need to change some batteries, or maybe a few of them break. It includes logistics and warehousing. So it also includes stocking these devices, because also what we've seen is that if you're going to do a large installation, let's say you're going to install 10,000 devices, that's never going to go overnight. That's always stretched over a period of time, and then you want to have that service as well. It comes with a OPEX model, so you don't have to procure the hardware. It has end-of-life services, so you need to take your responsibility. You cannot leave devices out in the fields for sure. And they come with a 5-year contract, and they start for 2,500 euros as a contract value, and it comes with 1 gateway and 6 devices to start with. It's a wholesale service, so it's available for selected customers, but we believe that this part of the puzzle will solve a massive scalability issue in the market.
Great. I think this is the glue to put it all together for large-scale deployments. Yeah. So we have the generic node, we have the stack, we have our partners, integrators, and this is getting it installed at scale.
Putting it in the field and putting it to
and maintaining
work.
It.
And adding that to all the messages that
changing
we've
the
seen,
batteries,
and pushing that exponential growth that we now see in the industry. If you have more questions around this proposition, go to the Things Industries booth. You will find our people there, and that's it. Still different than last year. We miss everybody of you. We hope to have you all here next year in a physical form back in Amsterdam in January. It's just Monday. You have a full week ahead. You can plan it in advance. You can watch talks back. You have the certification. You have the networking tools. So yeah.
Yeah, we hope to see you at the booth. Connect with each other. Stay safe. Hang tight. Enjoy the conference, and hope to see you next year.
Thanks.